Okay, consent agenda, any additions, corrections?
Nope.
Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second,
I'll second.
roll call.
Volkman.
Yep.
Stanky.
Yes.
Huss. Yes. Reese.
Yes.
Bill,
Bill, you're up.
what's the hot scoop on the bids?
I talked to the Van Man Electric, Josh is his name. I figure a month on these jobs, he said he'd be done in 4 to 5 weeks. I asked if he had a vac, he said yes, core drill. The company has 140 employees. I called the city of Newton and talked to their electrical guy, the engineer, and they do a lot of work for the city down there, and he says he has no problem with them, so everything looks good.
Is this the time to do some more, if we get the same price per foot or not?
I would say if the contractor would do it, it'd be an excellent time to do it if you wanna do a little bit more work. To keep it below the 80,000 though, the budgeted amount, but it would be an excellent time. They just bought a brand new boring machine, so. Every question I had, he answered, so.
So you're good with the low bid guy?
Oh, yeah.
I'll make a motion to accept the Van Man Electric.
Second,
I'll second.
roll call.
Volkman. Reese.
Yes.
Huss. Yes. Stanky.
Yes.
We could ask him when next time we talk to him, if they do it the same price per foot.
I'll ask him and I'll get back to you guys. Yep.
Okay, thanks, Bill.
That sounds good. Thanks.
Thanks, Bill.
Okay, we have East End annexation, we have a letter.
Yeah,
Just look through.
that's what was included in your package, just a written request from Landspheres to extend that deadline for 2 weeks. And what we had asked, what the city had talked about before, was having an answer about voluntary annexation by the 15th. And they're looking then at a 2-week extension, requesting that, and puts us about till the end of the month.
We should have a motion to do that, give it 2 weeks.
So moved.
Second,
I'll second.
roll call.
Volkman.
Yes.
Huss. Yes. Stanky. Yes. Reese.
Yes.
Will this be a time if anybody has any questions for Bobby?
Can I get up and
Yep,
speak?
you sure can.
Okay. I brought this from the engineer, and that's what I gave the city about. For that property on there, and you have a copy of it.
Not yet, but I do have copies, that's it.
Okay,
It's all right?
for the council
Yep.
and anybody else that wants one, that's
Yep.
on there. The way that property is, I had a licensed surveyor come out and do that to property lines. There is a wetland area and it is certified wetland on that acreage, okay? On the north, there's 3.6 acres of actually going to the wetland. Going to the south is 2.22 acres. And then going to the west, which is going to the lake, there is 0.98 acres. Of that whole thing, it is actually 7 acres. What basically I want to do, whatever water is going to the wetland is going to the wetland. Whatever's going to the south is going down the ditch. Everything is going to be staying the same on there. And I thought you would want to know that on there. I don't have a problem of the wetland deeding it over to the city. If they want it, fine. If they don't, fine. If I deed it over to the city, they give me a tax credit for it on it. I need to know what I'm gonna do with it on it, and I'm going for R3. Nothing's in writing, nobody really has made an offer on it, and I'm gonna be doing something with it. I need to know what I'm gonna do with that ground. Any questions? I'm here to answer them.
So what is the process for us to do that?
Pardon me?
Do we have to submit something so we could rezone it?
No, it's still an annexation issue. The first step in the
Mhm,
process
yeah.
would be annexation.
And that's our 2 weeks, but it still
Mhm.
takes longer after that, won't it?
Well, if it can be voluntary, it's just an action by the city council. It can happen fairly quickly. And, if not, it would go through the state and it takes a lot longer. But,
So really, they're not looking at much change then? Are you not looking at much change, even if it?
The only thing that I'm gonna be doing, I'm gonna be having somebody come up there and do some grading on there, taking all that concrete out of there on there. I did check with the DNR about, it is an old boathouse, I think for the ice things, and there's a certain elevation I gotta keep from where the old overflow is, and I can do anything I want there. on
as
it.
far as removing that foundation you're talking about.
Removing that foundation. I did talk to them about if they would like to put in another inland fishing place, they like that idea. Or if the city wants to, I don't care. But basically, I'm not gonna be moving any water any different of what it is right now. Because there's stumps that need to be pulled out, there's foundations there, which is gonna be pulled out. I'm gonna be needing dirt to fill that back in. That old big hog barn that's there, I'm gonna be doing that. I'm taking out all the concrete, but I am gonna keep that hoop building,
Oh,
and that'll be in the county, so. Any other questions?
I gave him that little sketch about the wetland on the
Yep,
back, Bob. If you
yep,
can
on there,
Maybe
and-
talk about that a little bit, about what that is.
Okay, now, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's .185, I think, or
0.18.
6. Okay, that's less than a fifth of an acre. That's the wetland. Now, I do know, and I did talk about possibly putting a pipe through. You can't. Yes, you can, but what the problem is, if the lake gets up, it's gonna fill that up. If that road ever goes to heck, it could dump the lake into that wetland. So there's no way, I mean, it's just, that's what it's gotta be on there. But what I'm thinking of is on the west side, there's that don't have to be R3 on there. It can, it's what, what's the?
Lakeshore Residential.
Lakeshore Residential.
And you're gonna call it what?
It's gonna be Black Hawk Wind Song. And there is a name, Scott, you're gonna have to say it, cause I can't.
Ashiweekwa.
Yeah,
People around here remember Ashiweekwa.
okay.
sure.
Mhm. On it.
That was the name of the old paddle boat down in the bay for a while.
Oh, is it? Okay, well, that is Black Hawk Squall. That's all I can tell you.
That's Black Hawk's wife.
Is it a wife? Were they,
Or,
yeah,
I don't guess.
I don't know.
I would refer to her as a wife, but.
Been a while.
on it, so, on it. And like I say, right now, I don't know what's going there. Who was wanting it, he's so busy in Yankee and Waukee and everything else, building a bunch of them on there. I don't know if you got time or not on there. But I know I signed the contract with my engineer. I'm I'm gonna be doing something with it. Don't know yet what.
Yeah.
On there, so. Okay,
So just a request right now, Bob, just deals with annexation?
that's fine, yeah. On there, so I can get some figuring on what I'm gonna do with it for that lift station. And, if you all read the article about me with that lift station, okay? If I put it in, there's gonna be a spike strip. You know what a spike strip is? Nobody else can hook onto it unless to tie into that lift station, they've got to pay me to do it. And you wanna know something? The way a lot of cities will do it, they will pay for it. If I gotta pay for it, that's the way it's gonna be on it, that future on it, which you wanna know something? That is a city unit there, and it'll be engineered out and everything else on there. And, I believe there is water on that side on there. I'm thinking that lift station will be on the east side. And then the sewer line will be put in, the water line will be put in. And yes, that's normally not up to the city on there. Light poles, you guys gotta put in.
We'll put in basic wood ones, Bob. If you want to upgrade from there, we'll have to come to agreement on your share of the cost.
On there, yeah. And then power is up to you guys. But I've gotta figure out what I'm gonna do with it, get the engineering out, everything else. Cause what I'd like to do is get that lift station put in. And I've gotta decide how many units can go in there.
So where does that lift station go to?
That goes in, okay, this city has a force sewer main, which is forced into the pipe. And I believe Lakeview's got 12 of them on there, and it's all done by force. And the problem with the lift stations, and that's, Lon's about ready to shoot somebody, I think, on there. And I had this problem in Ankeny on a rental unit of mine. They say they are sewer safe. They're lying to you on there. They will plug up, they will not dissolve, and that is what's stopping that one today, because I can't believe all the ones he pulled out of there, because I just saw him, and I stopped and talked to Lon. Well, I came in here and told him, you better call him back, the light's back on. And that's where he's at
He's
right
off.
now. Go ahead.
Are you talking about wipes? Yeah.
Yep.
Baby wipes and
They
adult
say they
wipes?
are safe,
And
but
they
they
say
are
they're safe?
not safe.
And it seems to me like someone needs to tell people that. from the
They
city.
sent letters,
We've told them several
They
times that.
still.
Haven't
they
had
still
much
using them.
luck. Yeah, and it kinda comes and goes, that's part of the deal, but we've had good,
Mhm.
good stretch of time here in the past couple of months, we haven't had a lot of problems, but it could just be they were kinda building up and got
And
there
they
today.
do build up, and they do basically make a ball. I literally had to have, in Ankeny, they had to auger out the sewer, and then they opened up the sewer pipe and flushed them. Yeah.
Goody.
And I would almost say, and I don't know if you can do it or not, the stores here, outlaw 'em. If they sell them, charge extra for it. On it. But they do say, I hear there is some lawsuits against the manufacturers on there.
Well, won't do us much good now, but
No.
but down the road.
Because they did change the pumps
We've upgraded a couple times, it
Yeah.
still don't grind them up.
And it still don't grind them
No.
up. Okay.
Alright, thanks,
Any
Bob.
other questions?
We're good.
Not at
For
this
now.
point.
Okay, and in 2 weeks, oh, I also wanna make a public apology to Scott. The letter he got from your city engineer, he got on a Monday. My engineer got on Monday night at 5:30 for the last council meeting. I got it Tuesday morning. And I kinda yelled at Scott on that.
Sometimes I can't tell though.
And well, but all I'm saying is one thing, anything on my ground, I wanna be notified, and you've got my phone number.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay,
We'll get hold of you.
I got one more, Lon, did you get it all taken care of?
Well, one of them.
Okay, one of them, okay, so, okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any, administrative report?
Just a couple things, that, on our union agreement that we had come to tentative agreement on, and we were passing that at the last council meeting. And Whitey made a comment about that, and he said,
$1 and $2?
yeah,
Yeah.
about $1 and $2, and, on the water wastewater certification,
Mm-hmm.
okay? And you may be right, and it may just be that there's an error or typo on this tentative agreement.
That's what.
Well, I thought
And-
if he got the test, then.
Well, it is, it's just, I think we probably agreed on $1, and that tentative agreement said $2.
Oh.
That's what I thought,
And, so I was checking into that and pulling up some of my notes, and I think it probably did say $1. Our fancy calculator there still had $1 listed in it. I've contacted the union about that, still try to work through that. And Melissa actually called me when I was on vacation then last week, and we haven't got anything figured out, and I didn't get a hold of her today. So we gotta keep trying to work on that as far as getting this situation figured out. But is that everybody's recollection about where we were? Do you
I
know?
think it was $1, 'cause I thought about that.
That's why I was surprised too, because
Well, I didn't know, it wasn't 2 and 2, no.
Cause we were $2 on journeyman,
the
and
dollar,
that,
Yep.
and that's the point to be clarified, I guess. Cause it may very well be that it's a, error on that tentative agreement, And just, my last point for you was the thing that was at your seat tonight. This is just some correspondence from the League of Cities about the collective bargaining changes. This is new law that's been passed by both houses, the governor's already signed this. And this is then just the League of Cities paper on specifically how these changes affect cities. So just a few things to highlight. Looking at the third paragraph down, scope of negotiations, significant changes to the types of collective bargaining units, what items may be negotiated in a collective bargaining agreement, recertification requirements, and some changes in arbitration. Okay? The big thing for cities is that it now establishes a separate section under collective bargaining about public safety employees. And if you have a police or fire unit, or if you have a unit that is more than 30% made up of members of public safety, there actually is very little change to the way things are bargained. But if you have a unit where less than 30% of them are public safety, then there's some dramatic changes to it. Okay, with the biggest thing being that basically the only thing that's negotiable is actually wages. And you see that that list of items there at the bottom, that bulleted list where it's saying insurance and leave of absence and supplemental pay and transfer procedures. Those items are no longer able to be bargained under a regular bargaining unit anymore, okay? If you are a public safety bargaining unit, they are still bargaining. You know, we have a strange, situation here where we could potentially have 7 members, we have 7 covered positions. And if all 3 of our our police officers were involved, that's 43% of the membership. We would conceivably fall under this same old negotiations is what it was now. It looks to, like, if we have 3 members, we would need to have 2 members from the police department. But, and that's not the only changes to this though, because the bargaining unit or the bargaining representative is re-ratified after every contract. So we get to the end of this contract, the membership, all eligible people vote, from what I understand, about who their representative would be for the next go around. It's and the top line on that second page, another big change includes the removal of payroll deductions. So, union dues would no longer be collected through payroll deductions, and they are now. Well, that'd bring a smile to your face, wouldn't it? And then, it talks about recertification of the employee organization. And then it goes into arbitration, and there's some differences again here on arbitration about whether you're a public safety union or whether you're one of the other unions. So it's kind of public safety or all other. And, there's scenarios where Lakeview's union could end up actually being a public safety union if we had more than 30% participants or union members from law enforcement. Some changes to arbitration. One of the big things is that it removes from arbitration just the notion that the city can raise taxes to pay additional money. The arbitrator can't consider that anymore. And then if it goes to arbitration, and these are non-public safety ones, but if it goes to arbitration, arbitrators can go up to 3%. They gotta use the lesser of 3% increase or the increase in the CPI for Midwest region. So it does really put some substantial strangles on actual union activity. Now, if things are still really collaborative and folks get along, maybe the impact's not as much as what you might think, but it sure could be. The process could change dramatically. Just my last note to you as you read the last part of it, in anything dealing with civil service, that's the last several paragraphs, we are not a civil service city, so it just doesn't apply to us. But that's
Did you see they're going to lawsuit on this?
I heard they were going to, did they get it filed today?
After you filed it today, they filed a lawsuit on it. So, have to see where that goes.
Right?
Yes.
Motion to adjourn,
Done.
second,
I'll second.
meeting adjourned.